All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new episode of the Moverine Crypto Show. Today, I have KryptoKnight. I'm very fascinated by KryptoKnight because of his background. I'm very fascinated with KryptoKnight because of the way he likes to explain things. So I decided to ask him on to the show today to just talk about anything that's related to traditional finance, to fiat, to cryptocurrency. I'm pretty sure he has a good take on every single thing. So today we're going to be talking. We're going to be talking about that in general, and then we're going to be taking on questions from the chat, or we're going to be taking on anything that's relevant to anything that we're doing, like like the Guardians of the Reservoir, Drip Network, Atom Farm, whatever you guys want. That's going to be towards the end of the conversation. But essentially, Thor Knight, would you like to just give us a bit of information on uh, on your background? Because I don't know if a lot of people know your background, but I think it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's good. First of all, I just want to say good morning to everyone. Appreciate you guys checking in and supporting the show. Mo, you're a rock star. Actually invited me out on a Saturday morning. Kickstarted my weekend the right way, man. This is
Yeah.
good. Talking
Yeah,
about
it's
money
fun.
and crypto. I love them both.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. No, look, man. I'm unique in this way because I do have a background in finance. So my undergrad is accounting. I've got an MBA in finance and small business. And I worked for a Fortune 500 company for 16 plus years in sales finance. And it was a great role, man, responsible for $1 billion book of business. So for someone to assign you the responsibility to manage $1 billion for a Fortune 500 company, must be doing something right, right?
Incredible. Yeah.
So I had a great command of financing and managing people, and worked for a phenomenal company, like surrounded by brilliant people, like literally brilliant people. So they challenged you every day to bring your best self to work, right? And that's what I love, just being surrounded by smart people because you didn't want to be the person in the room who didn't show up, who
Yeah.
didn't deliver. You know what I mean? So, like they say, the concept iron sharpens iron. But then after about 16 years, I just realized I wanted something more. I wanted something different. Had a good run, helped make an organization a ton of money, either make them a lot of money or save them a lot of money, one of the two. And I felt like I could do that for myself, right? So I thought about becoming an entrepreneur after about 16 years and didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but had a passion for real estate.
Hmm.
And so I started to buy and sell single family homes and commercial properties. And I do that for myself and clients that are property management companies that have like thousands of single family homes. So I provide the service and I do it for myself.
It's amazing. All right, that's excellent. So right now, that's primarily what you do on the outside of the crypto world. You buy and
Thousand
sell.
percent.
Okay, that's excellent. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So now, growing up in the kind of traditional finance world, as you did, um, like what initially made you interested in that um, kind of
Like
work, you know what I mean? Like
the
why did
traditional
you?
accounting and finance
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah, that's
I know probably there's not a lot of information about cryptocurrency back then, so maybe you just thought, okay,
no.
traditional finance is the way I should go. But were you
Yeah.
like very interested in it when you started, or you were not even thinking about it?
Honestly, I just fell into it by default. So I had a dad who was a vice president of a major bank responsible for like auditing. So I'm surrounded by
Okay.
him, 24/7. Same thing with my mom. Somehow she ended up in accounting as well. And they were doing pretty good, right? By our
Okay.
standards, we were doing pretty good. So we grew up in inner city, and my dad got this massive promotion to kind of move us to a different part of the Midwest. And I saw the type of lifestyle that we were living. I was like, I want to do that. But
Yeah.
frankly, Mo, I had like most teenagers, young adults, you don't know what you really want to do. You know what I mean? And in fact, it's a disservice for people to force these young adults to kind of decide at such a young age, here's what you need to be doing for the rest of your life. It's so unfair,
Yeah.
right? So I just decided to try it because of what I've seen in my parents. And for me, it came easy. Like numbers made sense to me, right? One plus one, generally speaking, equals two, right? So that makes sense to me. And then I like how numbers allow you to gather a whole bunch of information, put it together, and use the data to make a decision, right? You could take the emotion out of it. You can use the raw data and allow it to tell you, here's where you should be going, right? It recommends a path, it suggests a path. So that part of it, I really liked. And then once I started doing it, it just clicked. I was like, oh God, okay. I can do this, man. But what I find is most people don't enjoy personal finance. And man, it is so important. People got to wrap their head around personal finance because if you don't have a strong command of the inflow and the outflow of your money, you can get in trouble really quickly. You really could.
100%. Now, okay, so are you like other than your properties and whatnot, are you invested in traditional finance markets
Yeah.
like stocks and whatnot?
I do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I do that as well. So again, it's always been important because this has been hammered down. You don't have to be in finance to get this message. Most people who decide to invest in any type of asset class, if it's real estate, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, cryptocurrencies, it's important to stay diversified, right? Because in most cases, one of them are up and the other one's down, right? So you want to kind of maintain a nice, solid, predictable flow of profits and ROI. So diversity
Mm,
is really important. So I still do. Well, so most of my investments right now are in real estate and then stocks and annuities. So I typically think about it in three ways, right? So the way that I coach and teach when I talk to people who ask me questions about personal finance, I say, think about it this way. If the pie is 100%, you want to take about 30% and do these three things with it. One, you want to save 10% for long term retirement. And for me, that's like Ross annuities, right? Index funds. Set it, forget it. Then the other 10%, you want to start investing in things that are a little more riskier, but has a higher potential of a much higher ROI. And that's when you think about stocks, cryptocurrency, real estate, a business, yourself, right? Investing in yourself and personal development. Use that 10% to do those things. And then the other 10% is just the basic savings, right? For rainy days. If there's a major repair at the house or if the car breaks down, whatever. That's how you want to kind of allocate your money. And then the 70% is kind of like your living expenses, vacations, all that other stuff. But with that 10% that I use for investing, I still keep it in stocks, but I'm kind of shifting a bit more over into the right cryptocurrencies, which leads us into like a conversation about drip and the animal farm. Because the 10% in the traditional world, we can still get returns of like 3 to 15% annually,
yeah.
which is great by their standards. But then if you look at some of the asset classes and options we have in like the animal farm, still very safe, still have access to your capital, but man, you can earn like 30 to 70%. So now I'm starting
Yeah.
to think about how I mix up my portfolio.
Now, when you're saying, okay, I'm gonna invest in the right cryptocurrencies, so you think that DeFi is the right place to invest in rather than, let's say, the top 100 coins on CoinMarketCap?
Ooh, I love that question. I'm gonna say yes and yes. Yes.
Okay, well, explain it to somebody who's not 100% savvy in cryptocurrency because
Yeah.
I know when I started, one thing that was told to me all the time is that DeFi is so hard to get in and stay in for a long time because it's very, very um, very fluctuating in values. When
Yeah.
you never know what's gonna happen tomorrow, you never know what's gonna happen tonight with your money. So, like for somebody who's scared to get into DeFi and wants to stick to the top 100, what would you tell them at that point? You know?
So you are they not going to get in DeFi at all, or you're saying no? We just want them to be in the top 100.
Yeah, exactly. They want to be in the top 100 because they're worried that DeFi is gonna have rugs and it's gonna it's gonna
Yeah.
just crash and burn tomorrow. It's not safe and whatnot.
Yeah. So when you describe that type of person, they're clearly like low to moderate risk. And we all know that DeFi is for a very high risk type of person. So I agree. If that doesn't fit your personal profile, don't even bother with it. But if you're okay with taking on some low to moderate risk, then you're right. You want to stick with like the top 10 blue chip altcoins. So I still continue to invest. I actually dollar cost average into Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Solano, and FTN. Like I've got a set amount that I DCA in to all five of those every single month. And for me, because I'm a bit more aggressive in DeFi, I understand that there is so much volatility on the DeFi side. Like I could be up 50x and then within a few weeks, I could be down 90, 95%.
Yeah,
So a lot of people don't have the stomach for that, Mo, right? So I
clearly.
understand that when I start to generate profits, and I've actually gotten better at this, if I start in DeFi because it's a high risk profile, the minute I start earning profits, I'm taking some off the top and I'm diversifying into more stable cryptocurrency. So the five or six that I just mentioned. Because at some point, you've got to de risk your profile. It's not fun to go from 100 to down 95%. That sucks. And if people aren't responsible for playing in DeFi and consistently taking profits and becoming a little more risk off, then what's going to happen is you're going to continue to lose money in the DeFi space. And all of a sudden, you're going to brand us as the Wild Wild West. You can't make money in that space. So now we're getting all this negative press, and people don't want to play in our sandbox.
Yeah,
That's bullcrap because you're not playing the right way. We have certain rules over here, man. If you want to play in our sandbox, you've got to abide by our
yeah.
rules. Be responsible, take profits, and perhaps find something a bit more risk off.
And this goes back to what you said. You find the right projects and the right cryptos in DeFi, then you're doing it good. Like for example, when you invest in the animal farm, like for me, for example, when I invest my money in the animal farm, I feel safe. And
Yeah,
just to bring it back to a conversation we had on the Mega Live in probably like November or December. Do you guys remember? Well, do you guys? Whoever's in the chat might remember, might not from the Mega Lives, but you probably remember KryptoKnight. Do you remember that company that I had my money staked on?
yeah,
I had my Bitcoin, my Ethereum on. So I had a big, like I had all of my Bitcoin, Ethereum on that exchange staking for me, and I was
yeah,
earning a return of like probably like I don't remember. It was like it was given to me on a 7 day basis, but it
yeah,
was earning me about 20% to 25% on a 7 day basis. But it's APR, so it's like it's divided over 365. But
yeah.
essentially, the company end of December actually went bankrupt, and I had no idea, right? So if I had
Right.
my money staked there for all this time, the company is not no, it's not Celsius Wonder Woman. It was a it was an exchange called AAX. So that exchange, I think it's I don't know exactly where they're based. I think it's in Turkey. I'm not sure. But they had
Yeah,
super good returns like on your investment on your blue chips. They had super good returns in those specific blue chips. So it's not like for example, the animal farm, you stake your Bitcoin and then you earn dogs, right? You stake your
yeah,
Ethereum, you earn dogs. That
yeah.
one is different. That one is you stake Bitcoin, you earn Bitcoin, and then you just keep compounding it, and then you
That's sweet.
reinvest it every 7 days and whatnot. So I was having a lot of fun, and I
Yeah,
grew my position a little bit there. I actually through that I was able to get. like to some good milestones. But in December they rugged, so you can never trust a project unless you're 100% uh, happy with who the developers are and what kind of history they've had. So just all this to bring it back to
Yeah.
if you find the right project, then you're good. You know, you feel safe.
Yeah, and then I'm just speaking in general terms, right, Mo? This is what people have to understand. Like, we must learn from our mistakes, man. Otherwise, we're doomed to repeat them. Like,
Yeah,
and you cannot continue to make exceptions to your rules. Like, I'm okay with having like your third eye working for you and you're using your intuition to make decisions, but don't ignore the data, right? That's why I just want to remind people, don't ignore the data. Don't ignore the information that's coming in, because you've got to use that to make better decisions. Otherwise, you're going to make the same mistakes consistently. So that's what I'm saying. Like, in general, we make exceptions for certain people because we personally believe in the concept, in the individual themselves. And then if you've got an independent party kind of on the outside looking in and pointing to certain red flags, and we're looking at that person like, wait a minute, I don't care about the red flags. What do you mean? Right here, it's telling me I should continue to invest in this project. And I would say, if you remove the person's name that you're totally committed to, and someone pointed out all of these red flags, would you continue to head down that path? And 1,000% the answer is no way. I'm packing up and I'm getting out of here. So, what I'm telling people is don't ignore the data. And I'm saying you can continue to be committed to whatever that project is, but at the same time, you better have an emergency eject button. So, you better be planning. Because think about what you said, Mo. You had no idea that this particular
at,
institution was going to go away.
at
Everything looked good. All indications were strong. And he was like, I'm locked in. You understand? I ain't going nowhere. And I'm saying, yo, we have to prepare for a rainy day. That's all I'm saying. All
hey,
indications are good. Every car that's built to last has mechanical issues at some point. And if you don't set aside a nice little chunk, it could be devastating. So you always make sure you set aside. I don't care how much you believe in it. Set aside, diversify.
it's so true because like I didn't know until somebody messaged me on Instagram and said, "Hey, by the way, all my funds are gone because I was staked on AAX." I'm like, "Shit, me too. I was staked over there." So then that's how I knew essentially. But I love
Yeah.
what Wonder Woman said. She said that the animal farm is always available to have you access your capital if you need it. You know,
Yes.
like we can always unstake our capital no matter what happens. You know, and
Thousand
Forex, I
percent.
think Forex said something recently. He said if I died or something, or if I get crushed by a bus, whatever, you can still access your money. The animal farm still works. So yeah, so like, man, what you just said was really good.
Yeah, and this is what I tell people, especially because I know for a fact we are a heavy drip animal farm community. So
Yeah,
probably 99.9% of the people are going to be listening. This is not a ding at anything. I just want to make certain that people have core principles when they invest. Like, I'm 1,000% committed to drip and the animal farm. And that's just me, right? I've seen enough of the data. I've heard enough from the developer. I'm surrounded by people like Mo and Rock Ape and LD and Moonshot Max and all Crypto Mark. Like, we're in these small groups and we're making each other aware of everything that's going on in the ecosystem. And I say this 1,000 times. Like, the people in our group aren't spectators. We're players, right? We are players. It's important for us to kind of get in the game and be impactful. Use whatever technical skills that we have in a traditional sense, leverage those skills to support the ecosystem. Find something or some way to get involved if you believe in it. And if you don't, support everybody else who's kind of come up with an initiative. But we're locked in, man. But at the same time, develop core principles about when to DCA in, when to take profits, and stick to those principles. And I promise you, you'll have a much successful crypto experience.
now, are your strategies in your traditional markets the same as in cryptocurrency? Like your take profit, your DCA, whatever it is everything that you use
No,
and It's not the same. So what do you do
No.
exactly?
So that's a good point because it is apples and oranges. Both are good for you, but they're just different. You know what I mean, Mo? They're
100%.
just different. So
It's hard to believe because they're both investments, but for somebody who
yeah,
doesn't know, somebody who doesn't know anything, like it's so different. But I just want to hear your
different.
opinion. Like, what kind of strategies do you take usually?
So with a traditional sense, if I'm talking about a security, right? So let's just do like stocks and compare that to cryptocurrency because they're close, right? With stocks, I find great companies like an Amazon or what's the other one I just picked up recently? Oh my God, I just bought it like 2 weeks ago, and it's driving me insane. I picked up Amazon, and there was another blue chip. I'm gonna look it up.
Okay.
So for me, I'm looking for really good companies, and I simply buy and hold. And ideally, they're companies that earn dividends, right? So those are stocks that I'm really never planning on selling. I really don't care what happens to the price because I know for a fact that they pay dividends and I'm actually going to be earning passive income
So
every single quarter.
how does that work exactly? The dividend part.
Yep. So every quarter, based on how well the company is performing, they end up with surplus cash driven by profits. And
Hmm.
they earmark a certain percentage that they then pay back to their shareholders, right?
Wow. Okay, that's pretty
So
cool.
because you own shares within the stock, you're allocated a certain percentage of their profits. And sometimes companies that do that are the ones that they do a really good job of managing money. So they've got like surplus cash. So instead of just kind of holding the cash, they just give it back to their shareholders, right? In some other cases, they may not have a lot of cash. What little they do have, they just reinvest back into the company through R&D, innovation, marketing. But in most cases, if you have a surplus of cash, you kind of share the love with your shareholders. All right. And that's done every quarter in most cases.
Okay.
So for me, that's a form of passive income. It's a good company. I set it, I forget it. With cryptocurrency, I don't think you set it and forget it. In general, right? In
I don't
general.
I don't think you can.
No, in general, you don't set it and forget it, right? And here you have to be, you actually almost have to respond like a trader, even though we're not traders, we're investors. So we're still
Yeah.
thinking about a long term horizon. So we're thinking about years, right? But we have to pay attention to it daily because, as we all know, cryptocurrency moves like lightning fast. So if you're not paying attention, you can miss an opportunity to buy something on a massive dip, or the opposite. You can miss an opportunity to grab a big bag because now it's up 50x. So you have to pay a bit more attention here. There's less commitment in crypto and in DeFi, right? I feel like it's more of a quick grab and a money grab, right? I don't know what the
Yeah.
right word is. A quick cash grab, for lack of a better word. Like find a couple of really good projects that you can make sizable amounts of money in a relatively quick time and take your profits and find something else. Drip in the animal farm is quite different. I think there's a bit more trust because of the community itself. Like most people are doing it the right way, Mo. You know what I mean? Most people are doing it the right way. They're being responsible with how much they claim. They're using the animal farm and staking their dogs and their pigs. They're bringing other assets from other exchanges and kind of investing on the farm. So for the most part, everyone's doing it the right way. So
Yeah.
you don't have to be so concerned about the volatility in the animal farm, but maybe a couple things outside of our ecosystem. Man, you better be paying attention or you can lose your money pretty quickly.
Yeah, it drives me insane sometimes when you're on a chat and then you see somebody who said, "Hey, I invested this much 3 months ago, and what's going on right now?" Like, and it's a major crypto that's like up and down every single hour, bro. Like, you can't do that. You can't
You
just put
can't,
your
not in
money and
this
forget
space.
about it. You
No
can't.
way. Mo, and let's be honest, I've done that too. Can we be honest and transparent? Because when I got in, man, I was all over the place. Like I was super excited. I was like, "Oh my God, there's 7% over here, 10% over here. Ah, I gotta put money over here." and then you forget about it and you come back months later and the project's not there, or you were supposed to migrate over to a different version. I'm just like, oh God, what am I doing? That's the
Uh,
piece where it doesn't compare to traditional finance, man. Like, you gotta be, again, a player in the game, actively watching your investments in crypto. Otherwise, you lose
yeah,
sight of it and you lose money. In
yeah.
traditional finance, there's so many other people watching it for us, Mo. You got the SEC, right? You've got the public, you've got boards. They're watching every movement. So they're kind of doing the heavy lifting for you. So there's
Yeah.
some level of trust because of the oversight there. We all know this is the Wild Wild West. It's DeFi. There is no oversight. You know who's responsible for that? That would be you and that
You
would be
and you
me.
only. Yeah.
That's it.
Now, you know what you said earlier, you picked up Amazon recently. Let's say you pick up Amazon and the next day it triples in value, the stock. You're not going
Yeah.
to sell for profit and then reinvest later on when it goes in a dip?
Man, I'm telling you, Mo, it is so rare that I sell my stocks. It really is. I could probably count on one hand in like the last 10 years that I've sold any of my stocks. And maybe it's the way that I think about them. Because again, for me, it's an investment.
Hmm.
So I find a really good company that pays the dividends. I buy the number of shares, whatever I can afford at the time. And I always come back and DCA into my position. Because again, it's more of a long term play when I think about stocks, mutual funds, annuities, Ross. I don't touch it. I don't. And here's why I don't touch those. It's because 10% of my investments, my savings, my income rather, is allocated to investing. Then there's another 10% that when I say investing, and let me clarify. So 10% is allocated to stocks and whatever else, and I take some of that money and I invest in something like real estate. So we can kind of pivot there.
Yeah.
So real estate is something that I buy and flip. And I
Hmm.
know that's going to short circuit a lot of people. When they think about like real estate, they're thinking about buying and holding. And I'm like, you're 1,000% correct. Like that's what we've been programmed to think. But man, things change over time and you have to evolve. So here's kind of how I think about taking that 10% that I invest for stocks and all these other moderate to high risk things. A portion of that is the real estate. So right now, like most people should be doing, is the real estate market is on fire. It's cooled off a little bit, Mo, but it's still on fire. So if you're fortunate enough to find a property that you're able to rehab, what I've been doing is I've been rehabbing that property and selling it right away. And the reason I'm doing that is because the market is on fire. It's the concept of buy low and sell high. We're at all-time highs, right?
Hmm.
So because we're at all-time highs, I'm deciding to sell at the highest point, take my profits, and hold on to my cash. And here's why. Because I know at some point there's going to be a correction. And when there's a correction in the real estate market, because I'm sitting on cash, when it corrects, I'm going to be able to buy things at a 20, 30, 40, 50% discount. And then I hold. I renovate, and I rent out these properties and I cash flow.
So
And then
now,
I wait to the next cycle and I rinse and repeat.
so now all of your properties that you've held, you've actually sold at
Yeah,
the highest peak, and then you're just waiting for the right dip.
that's correct.
But
Like
then isn't
I've got
the
another property which I just listed Friday.
isn't the real estate market right now cooling down in a way
Yeah.
that is not cooling down as well? Like, how does it, when you're saying cooling down, I know it's going sideways. I don't think it's going like dipping,
No.
right? It's not going higher, but it's like going sideways. How do you predict, oh, sorry, how do you, when do you think it's going to take that dip? Like, is it going to be in years or is it going to be months from now?
Yeah. So here's the first indication about the cooling period. So last year I was able to offload like 6 big properties. And when I say big properties, these are like high six-digit properties, and all of them went for 10 to 15% over list, which means it's a seller market, right?
Hmm.
So anybody who has a property, you're getting your list price, if not higher, because there's such low demand that you have multiple offers on your property. And because of that, you're getting 10, 15, 20% over ask. You fast forward to the end of 2022 and now January, buyers are now starting to command a much cheaper price. So you're no longer getting list. You're getting something like 5% less than your list price. So now we know it's cooling off. It
Hmm.
hasn't bottomed, it's just slowly cooling
Yeah.
off. That's what I'm seeing in the market. Do I feel like there's going to be like a massive crash, something that we experienced back in like 2017, 2018? I don't really think so, Mo. I just feel like there's going to be a correction somewhere in the more in the range of maybe like 10 to perhaps 30%, and that's probably going to be it.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so let me talk about this one you've kind of answered in multiple ways.
Man, I could be a little long-winded, so I'm gonna try to get it a little more
Which is,
concise because I love talking about this stuff, man.
listen, I love hearing you talk about it. I love talking about it too. But I just want to make sure not to ask you questions that you've answered already. So I just want to make sure that
So,
we get a wide area, a wide variety of questions that we could answer today.
yep, and let me do
Uh,
this with too, because I'm with the real estate market because I just want to kind of go full circle. So again, remember I said everyone has an investment strategy, and the most important part is you got to do what works for you, right? I keep telling people my approach in the real estate market currently is slightly different from the traditional aspect. 99% of the people will tell you to buy and hold and never sell your real estate. And I would tell you they're 1,000% correct. 1,000% correct because that formula works for them. And I'm saying I'm just taking a slightly different spin. I'm saying I'm not going to hold it forever. I'm actually going to buy low and sell high and seize the moment to hold on to a boatload of cash, purchase the properties at a very affordable price, go through a period, and these periods, well, they last anywhere between like 2 and 4 years, where I hold on to these properties and I cash flow, right? So I'm building the equity, right? It's appreciating. I'm getting the tax benefits and my taxes. And oh, by the way, I'm getting cash flow from the tenants. So I'm doing that for a period of time, but I'm not committed to the properties forever. I'm okay with selling them at an all-time high and getting a boatload of cash. I'm okay with that, right? But that's just me, right? It's
yeah,
just me.
because you're finding an opportunity to do it right now, so you're doing it. You're seizing that opportunity,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're gonna hold eventually. Okay, that makes
Eventually, I'm
sense.
going to hold. It's a mixed bag. I'm never too far on any areas of the spectrum, right? I'm never going to completely hold on to my properties forever, and I'm not going to flip 100% of the time, right?
Hey, that's so
Same thing
good.
with the investments, it's diversifying. With my stocks, I'm going to hold on to those. But then over here in the crypto world, I'm going to find some assets that I'm going to flip and hopefully make some money, right? Because I picked the right ones,
And
right? You know what I mean?
that's the goal.
That's the goal. You know what I'm saying? Emphasis on the word hopefully, because anybody in crypto who tells you they haven't lost any money, I'm gonna call you a liar to your face. I'm a conversation over. You're a liar.
Oh, you're funny.
You know what I mean?
Uh,
You've
but it's
lost money
okay.
in crypto, man.
So, you started with investing in traditional markets. Now, has that given you experience before you started investing in cryptocurrency, or when you started in crypto, you were like fresh meat on the market? You had no idea what the hell you were doing. Like, did,
Mo,
did you face any kind of challenges when you did that, or nothing at all?
Mo, I gotta be honest. I forgot everything I learned when I started in
Really,
cryptocurrency. Oh my
really.
God. I did, man, because you're so shocked by the APYs on these projects, man. You ignore all of your schooling, educations, the lessons you've learned, the losses you've taken, and you just go in hard. Like I made that rookie mistake, man. I really did, because you don't know what you don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know. You don't
A hundred
realize that
percent.
there are a bunch of bad actors in the space. and they have bad intentions. They want to take your money because they're banking on you being excited about these insane APYs that you're seeing and pouring a ton of money into the project. And then the next day you wake up and they're out of here. So I fell for that, Mo. And then I had to slow it down. I said, oh, wait a minute, man. You got an education in this stuff, right? you you gotta leverage your principles, bro. You are tripping. And it only took for me to lose an insane amount of money for me to realize I'm hustling backwards. I'm not doing this the right way. I don't care if it's the Wild Wild West. There's certain principles you've got to apply. First of all, you don't ape into any project. It's rule number one. Don't do that. Because in my experience, there's always a cooling off period if it's a good product, right? If it's a good product, there's always a cooling off period. So, first of all, throw a little bit of cash in there, whatever your risk capital is, whatever you can afford. Throw a small amount of cash in there and just kind of watch what happens for a number of weeks, a number of months. And if everything is paying out, and here's what I mean, if you put in $100 and over 30 days, 60 days, you're able to take 50% of your investment out, perhaps 100% of your investment out. Do that before you go back in, right? Second rule is as early as possible, get your principal out as fast as possible. Because here's a rule for the wealthy, they never lose their principal. Never lose their principal. Their first rule is to never lose money. So anytime they give an investor money, it's protected by equity within the company, or there's a very fast term to get their money out because they realize in order for me to stay rich, I can't lose any money. So you want to get your principal out as fast as possible. So don't ape in, don't ape in, dollar cost average in, try to get your principal out as fast as possible. Because then what happens is you make decisions that are less emotional. Because now we all know this. We're playing with house money. We understand this. We're playing with house money. So you're less emotional because you're really not losing any money. You're just not gaining anything. Does that make sense, Mo?
Yeah.
One more time for everybody. You're not losing any money because the principal's out. You're just not gaining any. And I'm telling you, if you had a choice to either think about the money you would have made versus the money you actually lost, one's going to feel a lot worse than the other, right? And I know it's hard for people to do, and that's why I'm saying I didn't do that right away. I struggled with that, Mo, and man, I lost a ton of money. And that's when I said, bro, you've got to apply basic principles, right? DCA in, try to get your principal out as fast as possible, monitor the project. And how you monitor the project is you listen to AMAs for the dev, if they have them. You get a read on the community sentiment. Like, is it shifting? Is everyone still feeling pretty good about it?
Yeah.
Okay, everyone's still feeling pretty good. Investment's safe. You know, is the team still innovating, still developing? Yeah. Oh, okay, still pretty good. Oh, they're not developing. They went radio silent. Oh, okay. Well, let me go ahead and get my money out. Right? All these things I ignored. I ignored Mo, and I'm telling you, man, it was painful because I lost money. You have to lose some in order for you to realize that this is real money, man. So no, I didn't use my
Hey,
education when I
so
jumped
so
in.
so this is for somebody who somebody just tuned into to the show. It's important to know that it's okay that you're losing money when you're first starting. You know, like a lot of us, it happens to the best of us. You know what I mean? Like when I first got into, I was roped in into all these nodes and all these APRs and all these APYs too. Like I lost some money too. It's okay, but a lot of people say you don't learn by losing money. I say you learn by losing money.
Yeah,
I learned by trying things. I learned by putting myself into that position, see what's going on, and learning as I go. But just like you said, never ape in because then at that point you're doing everything wrong. Which is
yeah.
excellent. Now, okay, let's go to something a bit more positive. Has there been any kind of uh, particular investment that you've done that you're proud of that you can share with everybody?
in the crypto space.
Crypto space, whatever, traditional finance, whatever it is. But I mean, a lot of people might be interested with the crypto stuff more.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. Yeah. So I would tell you this.
Wait, before you get started, when did you actually start investing in crypto?
Yeah, so I started my journey in December 2021. And I'll give you
Okay.
like a backstory and then I can answer your question. So I had a nephew who was away at college back in 2017, came home on a break, stayed with me for a couple of days, and mentioned to me about this cryptocurrency called Bitcoin.
Oh,
And he
what is
was
that
he
all
was
about?
right, and he was doing his best mode to try to explain it to me. And again, he's a young teenager trying to explain cryptocurrency. Do you know how hard that is back in 2017 to try to explain it? Come on, cut it out. And then you're a young adult too. So I'm looking at him like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm nodding like enthusiastic, like, oh my God, this is great. Oh, Bitcoin. He was like, yeah, Uncle Ron, you should get
Oh
into
my
it. It's about
god.
$700 or something like that right now. I was like, yeah, okay. Why don't you do a little more research and get invested and then come back and tell me about it?
Oh,
And
okay.
so he walked away because I just didn't want to discourage him, right? I didn't
Hmm.
want to pour cold water on his dream. If it was
The,
something that he believed in, I wanted him to follow up on it and invest,
at
right?
at that point, was it something that in your mind it was like traditional
It's a
finance?
niche
Let's say,
coin.
yeah,
It,
like,
it's BS. It's
yeah,
here
okay,
today, gone tomorrow.
okay.
I'm not interested. You can't explain it to me. I don't understand it. And I don't understand it because I'm not even open minded enough to receive the information, Mo. I'm already blocking it like, I ain't even interested.
See, that's a
You know what I
that's a
mean?
that's a problem that I was facing too. I was not open to it. I was just, ah,
Yeah.
man, what kind of mistakes? Anyways, keep going.
So it leads up to this. This is right around 2017.
Yeah.
Fast forward to August 2021. Comes back and says, hey, Unc, have you seen Bitcoin and how much it's worth? I was like, say less, nephew. Let's go. Bitcoin was like, I don't know, 40, 50, 60,000. It was insane. I was like, I missed that opportunity. I'm not going to do it again. So I'm going to force myself to understand cryptocurrency because I see that there are long term benefits in it. So for about 2 weeks, he stayed with me and helped me understand cryptocurrency. And because of the conversation I had with him, it led me to eventually become aware of Drip, right? And then I started to invest in cryptocurrency. So the good news is he got me in and introduced me to Drip. So when I got into Drip, I invested a large sum of money because at the time each Drip token was over $100,
Yeah,
right? So I
I
did
remember.
manage to take profits along the way. So I did win in Drip. And for me, the good news is we're still writing on the pages in the book. Like we haven't gotten to the end of the story. So I know when we finally get to the final chapter in Drip, there's going to be a pot of gold for everyone who's committed to Drip and the animal farm. That's going to be my storybook ending. Finding Drip and staying and committing to the product. That's my story.
That's amazing. All right, man. I mean, I hope it pays off. What
Yeah.
what what do you think? Um, what do you think the future is like for crypto?
Mo, I think it's here to stay, man. I really do. I think
Eh,
it's here to stay only
eh,
because it's an alternative that people are unaware of, but it is revolutionizing the way that we purchase products, provide services, transfer money, maintaining privacy, access to our funds. Like all of these are the perks that people are just kind of glossing over because, much like we were when we first heard about cryptocurrency, we simply didn't understand it. And because when you don't understand anything, your first response is to say, no, not interested, and it's not going to work. But the way that I learn is sounds like the way that you learn is by doing. So
Mhm.
once people actually find the right person to convince them to get started in crypto, and they actually start buying, selling, transferring, swapping, and start earning these insane APYs, then they're going to be a little more plugged in, and then they're going to realize the true benefits of cryptocurrency, right? It allows you as a average person to maybe have as little as $1 to $10 and actually start investing, not saving, but investing. Cryptocurrency allows the average person to start investing. And the only way that you really start to change your financial landscape is through investing, right? So cryptocurrency allows you to start there with a very low cost of entry. And then all these other perks associated with it comes in. Like, all right, so over here, these are my keys, like meaning like this is my money. So at any point in time I can kind of take it out of the system. Yeah. Oh, okay, so this is my money, and at any point in time, if someone else has a MetaMask wallet, I can actually send them money to, and you're not going to charge me like a $20 transfer fee. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you're telling me that if I'm smart about the investments that I make, I can find the right cryptocurrency and potentially 5x, 10x, 20x my money. Like I only have $100, and you're telling me that I could potentially turn my $100 into 1,000. And if I find the right one, I could do that. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm telling you. Like that's the power of crypto, and people are just unaware of it right now.
That's amazing. Now, do you think that's going to impact traditional finance in any way or no?
Yeah, more eventually. I mean, that's why they're fighting so hard, right? You've got the bigwigs at the bank calling it like a niche, a Ponzi, because they are smart enough to understand how powerful cryptocurrency is, because it puts the power back into the hands of individuals like us,
Now, that's
right?
coming from somebody who has experience in digital finance, right? So
Yes, they're
that's
fighting it
that's
hard
big. That's big
because Mo, what they need our money to
to
make
run
money,
to run their
right?
to run their stuff to run their systems to make money. You're right.
They must. That's why they keep telling you and coaching you through education to save. Man, that should be like taboo, right? We know we have to save money because things just pop up. So you have to have cash that's liquid to manage emergencies, like real
Yeah.
emergencies that take place in your life. We said it before, if there's a major repair at the house or the car, or if you've got friends and family that are just in a bad situation, there's funds that you can access to provide to help them out of their situation. So you've got to have cash that's liquid. But they want you to save and pay you a less than 1% on your money so they can lend it out and charge you 5, 6, 7, 8% to borrow to purchase a house. Or if you want access to a credit card, they're going to charge you 18, 20, 25% per year, right? So they're killing it in terms of using our money. So they don't want anyone stop. They don't want us to promote a product that stops us from putting money into the bank. Anything that says stop putting money into the bank, they're going to fight tooth and nail, because now you're taking food off of their table. And we're like, hey, man, look, how about we just allow everyone to eat? Okay. I'm going to keep a little money in the bank because I have to. I got to have some cash that's liquid, right? I got to have a checking account and a little savings account. Now allow me to invest in something else over here that earns a much higher yield. Can I do that too? Can't we all get along? Can't we all make money?
I love that.
That's that's all we're saying. And they're fighting it because they realize now they've got to share a portion of the pie.
Yeah, no, they're realizing that the amount of profits and return you're gonna get by investing in this small little investment over there is gonna be way more than they're gonna offer you in a savings account. So
Oh, it's
something
sickening.
something is gonna crumble at some point. That's
It's
crazy.
sickening, Mo. And
Now,
here's the problem is that people are just unaware that there are other options like we were. We didn't realize like cryptocurrency has been going on since what, maybe 2013 or something like that. Bitcoin, maybe.
yeah,
Don't quote me on that, but it's been around for a while. And we're just kind of turning a page. So we're the 1% of the 1%, right? So we're still a small category of people that are trusting in cryptocurrency. And all it's going to take is the right institution, the right influencer to really talk more about the benefits of cryptocurrency to offset all of the negative press that we received recently, right? And
Yeah,
it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
yeah. When you got people like Warren Buffett saying it's a scam, or whoever that other guy is his friend, I forgot his name. Those guys keep saying it's a scam. Everybody's gonna start believing them because they're used to whatever investment strategies they've done when they grew up and made their millions. So it's gonna take an influence, like you said, that's gonna promote cryptocurrency for it to be a bit more mainstream. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Now we are in a bear market, as you might know. So for
It
somebody,
sucks too. It
yeah.
sucks.
Now somebody who's coming in today with some money, and he's used to investing in traditional markets, what kind of approach would you give them to investing in cryptocurrency? Like, what kind of advice would you give them to get started, and where would they start getting that information?
Yeah. And honestly, I would think about it in terms of allocating portions of your investment. All right. So I would think about it this way, same way that I think about my personal finances. And it's going to be a little aggressive because, again, I really believe in cryptocurrency and I really want people to change their financial landscape.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be willing to take on a certain level of risk to do that. So it's going to be a little more riskier than most people would suggest, but that's why you're in crypto. You're understanding what you're getting into. And at this point in your life, you're not happy with your financial situation and you want it to change, right? So you got to do something drastically different. And
Mm-hmm.
cryptocurrency becomes an option for you. So the way that I think about it is a mix. So I would say 70% of whatever that number is for you,
Mm-hmm.
I would say you want to invest in blue chip, right? So find Bitcoin, ETH, something in the top 10, Mo, to invest 70% of your risk capital there. And the reason I'm saying that is because they're safe, right? They're mature cryptocurrencies. There is history in terms of charts that you can point to that definitely says they go in cycles. There's quite a bit of utility associated with the cryptocurrency like ETH. So you know it's got staying power, right? You know it's got staying power. And it's going to give you, you know, literally 1000x higher than a savings account. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So you know the funds are going to be there. So 70% in something like a blue chip. Then I would take the other 30% and invest in the animal farm and drip. And I would say take 20% of the remaining balance and invest in something like the animal farm, specifically BUSD
Mm-hmm.
as an example, because the BUSD is really easy for people to translate. It's a dollar, right? You don't have to go to CoinMarketCap or
Guaranteed.
CoinGecko and convert it. Like it's a one-to-one relationship, right? So if you put 30 bucks in, you see 30 bucks less the tax, right? And then as you earn yield, the math is real simple again. You can take what you've earned in the form of these dogs divided by your investment, and then you can clearly see what your return on investment is. That's really simple, easy to comprehend, and straightforward, right? And you're earning yield, I think, at like maybe 30% or something like that.
Yeah.
Then the remaining 10% within our ecosystem, I would say drip. And I would say drip would be another solid play. Just kind of the circumstances, it's less attractive when you look at a chart, right? But it has the highest potential to do a 4x, 5x, 10x. So this money over here is a bit more high risk. You may lose it all, but you may hit the lottery and change your money. All right. So that's how I would allocate it. It's still within our ecosystem. And I'm saying Could I dabble outside of our ecosystem? Yes, but I'm saying you're just getting started. And these are the ones that I trust. These are the ones that have been around for months, right? Months. Everyone else has kind of come and gone. We've been around for months with no exploits, right?
It's
We haven't
beautiful.
been rugged. The best community in the space, right? A developer that is still freaking building in a bear market. So I personally trust our ecosystem. There are some other ones that are doing extremely well. And I'm saying, all right, cool. But if you're new to crypto, I think I need to see a bit more before I personally recommend you to do that. I've seen enough here. Yeah.
I love it. Man, that's really good. Um, so how right now, how do you stay informed with everything related to crypto? Like, do you follow the news in terms of crypto in any specific news outlet, or do you just follow the groups that are involved in certain projects, and then you just get your information from there?
Yeah, I do more. I actually stay plugged in, man. It's funny. Like when I first got started, you could probably relate to this. Again, I've been in crypto for 14 months now, 14, 15 months now. When I got started, oh my God, I was up 16, 18 hours a day. I'm consuming information, man. I'm looking at BitBoy, I'm looking at Crypto Banter. There's another crypto news outlet I can't think of fast enough, but I will. And I'm just like, I'm loving all of this information because it's new and it's information you can apply like real time. So I continue to stay plugged in because it's important because we realize how quickly cryptocurrency shifts. I mean, the market is so volatile. We
Hmm.
know what happens at a macro level
Yeah.
and how that impacts us all the way down to DeFi, right? So you've got to stay plugged in because remember, we said cryptocurrency is an active investment. We're not trading, but it's an active investment, which means you've got to have a pulse on the macro because the macro is an indication of what you should be doing next. Because bad news, that shit flows downstream, right? So you better have a plan based on what's happening at the macro level to manage your portfolio, right? The same thing with the macro. And if it's good news, remember, you better have a plan to kind of pull out profits if everything is rainbows and sunshine, right? So I'm always staying plugged in. But in terms of whatever investments I'm in, you know this about me. I like to be involved. I like to be engaged. If there's a way for me to influence the direction of our product, I want to be a player, right? So
Hmm.
I'm always listening to your YouTube, Crypto Fergies, Rock 8, LD, Moonshot, Crypto Mark. Like I'm plugged in because here's the reality. As much as we like to, we can't sit in front of the computer, 24/7 like we have a real life, Mo, right? So you got to find a couple of influencers that you
Yeah.
trust and keep things kind of objective and leverage their information and their time to make decisions, man. So
Yeah, I
I'm
love
staying
that.
plugged in.
Now, we're I just wanted to get your last kind of words for for somebody who wants to invest right now. Like, this is obviously nothing is financial advice. What kind of strategy are you doing right now with your drip, with your animal farm, or what are the, let's say, top five altcoins or blue chips that you're collecting right now and in the bear market that you're hoping are going to have some return once we go back in the bull market?
Yeah, you got it. Let's start with the obvious, like drip, because everybody really wants to talk about the drip. So right now, I have one wallet, my main wallet, and my strategy's pretty straightforward. I am actually claiming 2 days a week without fail. No matter what, I'm claiming for 2 days. And I've not taken any profits. I'm actually taking those 2 day claims and I'm pairing them with BUSD and I'm sticking them in the farm. My
Really?
current
Okay,
dogs.
that's
Yep.
good.
All of my drip right now. Yep. All of my
Now,
drip is from the farm.
why you doing it this way?
Yeah. So for me, it's really simple. And everyone's going to be shocked by this answer, but just hold tight. Well, it's real obvious. I'm waiting for drip to move, man. Come on. I'm not selling at these prices. That just makes no
Yeah.
sense, you know?
Yeah.
Even though in my case, it's probably like 20, $30 a day. And if you extrapolate that over 30 days, it could be 600 to $900 a month, which is really good, man. In most households, that's rent, mortgage, car payments, you pay your utilities off. Like that's a good
Hmm.
earning. But for me, I don't necessarily need that. So I'm actually doubling down. And I know and pray and hope that drip does reach much higher prices. So I'm staking my drip over in the farm. So I'm pairing with the BUSD and I'm staking over in the farm. And then obviously I'm earning the dogs. And eventually with the dogs, I actually split them in both pools. So I do the auto compounding and the linear. So I rotate it. So once I get to a full dog, I'll claim. And then 1 week I'll put it in the auto compound. The next time I get to a full dog, the next week I'll put it in the linear pool.
Got it. And do you have any goals in your auto compounding and linear pools? Like, for example, me, I just completed 25 dogs in my auto compounding pool. I want to do 25. Stop. I want to, I want, my next goal would be, because I know you like working in goals, which is why I'm asking
Totally.
this question. I want to do 25 in the linear pool. Right now I have like seven, I think.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna move to the AFD, BNB, WBNB, and AFD, BUSD. Those two
Oh,
farms in the animal farm to
yeah.
generate more AFP.
Yeah.
So what are your immediate goals right now? In this
A
like
hundred and a
next
hundred.
couple of weeks? Yeah.
Yeah. So 100 dogs in both the linear and auto compounding pools.
100, that's good.
Yes. And
All
then
right.
once I shift, so to your point, because I do like the goes, and then once I shift from there, then I'm actually going to come up with a completely new strategy. Because right now, I'm heavily invested in the Trip BUSD pool,
Mm-hmm.
the pig pen, right? My 100 pigs.
Yeah.
And then now the new goal is 100 dogs in both the auto and the linear. So after that, I've got to come up with a new strategy. And it's likely, Mo, it's likely, because I haven't invested in any of the dog LPs. I
Yeah.
may be open to the dog LPs and start earning pigs that way.
And the reason why I'm saying, like, the reason why I want to start investing in the dog LPs is because, like, they have like 12 and 16x multipliers on those farms,
Yeah.
and they have higher APYs. So I want to test out the waters and see if they can generate me more pigs than what I'm generating in the auto compounding pool. I know that it's generating quite good, the auto compounding pool, but I just want to see the difference between both,
Yeah.
and I want to test out the waters, you know.
Yeah, I do.
So
So that's with the drip, right? And then
yeah.
kind of like the animal farm, in terms of kind of how I'm going to be marching forward.
Wait,
And then
before you move on, why are you choosing to claim on a 5-2 strategy as opposed to just compounding till you max out?
Oh, that's a good point. Because remember, there's that fine balance. It just
Uh,
is. Yeah. Like, I really don't like to walk either extreme. And
yeah,
part of it, Mo, is probably my genetic makeup because as a finance accounting major,
yeah,
our job is to mitigate risk at all costs.
100%, 100%.
Mitigate
Yeah,
risk. So we're never on the extreme of anything, right? We try to balance it. And I'm saying, just in case, when I look at the data and it tells one story, because there's always mitigating circumstances that pop up that are completely out of our control. And you better have a parachute. And if you don't have a parachute, it is a free fall. And I don't want to fall and bump my head. I've done that enough, right? I'm over that, man. So you've got to prepare for those circumstances. And if people are kind of turning a blind eye to that, I would say that's just being irresponsible, because again, 1,000% of us have been burned in cryptocurrency, and it's because we ignored our core principles.
mm-hmm.
So you got to stay focused on the plan. So it's a 5 and 2 strategy. I'm kind of taking profits, even though I haven't taken it to Fiat. And I'm saying the
Which
profits are
is
here because it's out of the faucet, right, Mo?
yeah, yeah. It's
It's out of
beautiful
the faucet.
because you're keeping it in the ecosystem. You're not selling
Yes.
it, and you're kind of taking some profits because I mean
Yeah.
you're earning more dogs, which is ultimately a great goal.
Yeah, and when drip returns to a much higher price, I could
Then you have the
liquidate right
access. Yeah.
away.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
have the access. You don't have to liquidate all of it. You can liquidate half of it, 25%, whatever it is, but at
absolutely.
least you have that option, which is good.
Yep. Yep.
It's a great play. All
So
right, so
that's
you
why
can
it's a 5 and 2.
yeah, and then what else after that? Let's say outside of drip and animal
Yep.
farm.
So here's another play. And again, if we want to be completely transparent. So again, remember I said I'm constantly DCAing into like a handful, which
Yeah.
include Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, and a couple other ones that I constantly DCA into every single month. And another particular cryptocurrency kind of outside of our ecosystem that I'm pretty optimistic about is Hex. Yeah,
Really?
it
Hex.
is. I'm really optimistic about Hex.
Really?
It is. And I mean, I started with Stunner and Crypto Talk because that's kind of how I believe
Technology?
they
Yeah.
made their money as well. So I started back then investing in Hex as well. And part of the reason I like Hex is he's doing it for the same reasons that Fork Shark is doing it for, and it's really to liberate people. It really is. It's really to liberate people and provide the average person access to financial freedom. Right? He's just doing it for that reason, man. And I want to be behind anybody that supports liberation and empowering the small guy to make a ton of money. And the other thing I like about him is he's just brilliant, man. He goes into a room which I refer to as like a lion's den. You know, there's a panel of like 10 people and they are all attacking him. And somehow he leaves the room and each of the lion has like a collar on him. And he's just walking them out and they're like pussycats all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Because he's filled with so much knowledge. So for me, it's like, all right, cool. So he's brilliant. He's kind of thinking about creating a blockchain and saving money in terms of making all of these transactions when compared to ETH. Like who doesn't want to save money when they, process a transaction? So he's creating that for people. And then the one thing that I really appreciate the guy is the marketing aspect of it. Like I've seen how powerful marketing is on BS cryptocurrencies, with zero utility. Like marketing is massive in the space. When you've got like a big old community and then you've got a figure like that dude out there fighting everybody and winning all of these wrestling matches and then 10,000x his cryptocurrencies. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hitch my wagon to that horse. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give me a little hex as well. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. All right, man. Let me just see if anybody in the chat has any questions before we end off this stream. It was a pleasure having you, man. Honestly, like I've been wanting to do this for a long time, just because I have an interest in every single aspect that deals with making money,
Yeah.
and I made myself a goal in 2021 to find a bunch of sources of passive income that will generate me money for years to come, right? So
Right
traditional
on.
finance has always been something on my mind. I never really invested in it, honestly. Like for me, I started in crypto right away. Um, but I really wanted to hear it from you because I knew you had that background, and it was just a pleasure having you here. So
This is
everybody in
awesome.
the chat, if you guys have any questions before we end off the stream, please go ahead and ask us. It could be
Moonshot Max,
anything
Wonder
from
Woman,
yeah, these guys have been here the whole time, so appreciate you
Sleepy
guys.
G,
Like we've had LCM, we've had Wonder Woman, we've had Moonshot, Rich,
Raymond
Damon
Ali,
Alley, yeah, like
Samuel S. Boy, I see ya.
Samuel S. Yeah, he's Rock Ape is there. Like
Legacy,
these
a
guys are
legend.
awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys have any questions before we end all the stream, please let us know. And otherwise, we're gonna see you guys in the Telegram.
Mo, you're awesome, man. And we're proud to have you as
Hey,
an
thank you.
ambassador within our community, man. You've got the right personality, right? You're super positive and optimistic, but you also play it straight, right? And that's why so many people naturally gravitate to you, man. So it was my
Appreciate that, man.
honor to participate in this, man. This is great. Yeah.
Appreciate it. And if everybody doesn't know by now, I'm pretty sure everybody knows in the chat, but every Wednesday we have a Twitter Spaces. KryptoKnight hosted that Twitter Spaces, hosts the Twitter Spaces. I think now you're trying to do one host or one
Yeah,
guest
like a
a week.
special guest each
Yeah,
week.
that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Last week we had NY Crypto, we had S Crypto. So
Yeah.
that's pretty fun. If you guys want to tune in on Twitter, it's just listen in. If you want to talk, we're gonna have you guys on as well. That's pretty cool. So yeah, man, thank you so much for joining. I think everybody is quite happy with the conversation, and nobody has any
Yeah.
questions. So I guess we'll end it right here.
Right on, Mo.
All
You're a
right,
rock star.
thank you
Thanks,
so much.
everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Take care, everyone.